Lao Tzu was leaving the kingdom, heading toward the mountains, when he approached the final gate. The old master sat silently on his ox, the sun setting behind him like an ancient lamp slowly being extinguished. The guard at the gate, who had watched thousands of travelers pass without ever feeling anything stir inside him, suddenly felt a trembling in his heart. With folded hands, he stepped forward and said, "Master Lao Tzu, forgive me. You are leaving forever, and I have carried one question my whole life. Perhaps it is foolish, perhaps childish, but it burns within me." Lao Tzu looked at him with calm, timeless eyes. The guard said, "Tell me, Master, how was this universe created? Who made all this? Where did everything come from?" Lao Tzu smiled. The kind of smile that feels like the answer has already been given before a single word is spoken. He said softly, "If you like, I can give you a story. But remember, the truth has no story. Stories are for the mind, truth is for the being." The guard bowed deeply. "A story will do, Master. Even a story will help a small man like me." Lao Tzu nodded gently. He said, "Your question begins with a wrong assumption. You ask how the universe was created, as if it was an event, as if one day there was nothing, and suddenly something exploded into existence. But the universe is not an event. It is not a construction. It is not a project. It is like a fragrance. Does a fragrance get created? Or does it simply spread when a flower blooms?" He paused. The universe is the blooming of the eternal. Not created, simply revealed. The guard still looked puzzled. So Lao Tzu continued, "If someone created the universe, then who created that someone? And who created that someone? If you continue like this, you will wander forever in the beautiful, endless streets where philosophers go to die, dead ends decorated with clever words." He leaned closer and whispered, "Existence needs no cause. Only objects need a cause. This universe is not an object. It is a living mystery." Lao Tzu looked toward the mountains. They say that before everything, there was silence, not the silence full of hidden noise. No, a total silence where nothing could be asked and nothing could be answered. In that infinite silence, something stirred, not as a plan, not as a decision, but like a sleeping person size. A spontaneous movement, a ripple in the eternal. That ripple became the first vibration. The vibration became sound. Sound became light. Light became form. And form became oceans, clouds, forests, animals, laughter, tears, stars, and your very heartbeat. He raised a finger. But remember, nothing was created. It simply unfolded, like a bud opening into a flower. The guard asked, "But Master, why did that first ripple happen? Why did the silence stir?" Lao Tzu laughed, a soft, effortless, ancient laughter that made even the leaves on the trees seem to listen. Why? Be careful with that question. It has no answer because the question itself is wrong. The mind wants purpose. Existence has none, or if it has never explained it to anyone. He said, "The universe is not a mission, not a duty, not a serious operation. It is a play, a celebration, a beautiful divine accident, innocent, spontaneous, overflowing." He added, "Have you seen children building houses of sand? They build not for achievement but for joy. And when the river washes everything away, they laugh. Existence is like those children." The guard asked softly, "So, is there no creator?" Lao Tzu said, "When a river flows, do you ask who is flowing it? When clouds drift, do you ask who is drifting them? River and flowing are not two. cloud and drifting are not two. So the creator and the creation are not two. The creator is not a person with tools. The creator is the happening of existence itself. The creator is the movement of the whole. The creator is the breathing of the eternal. Lao Tzu then pointed to the guard's chest. You want to know how the universe was created? Then look within. Every night, your mind creates entire worlds, people, mountains, rivers, storms, sunlight. If such a tiny consciousness can create an entire dream world, imagine what the infinite consciousness can do. He said gently, instead of asking, who created the universe? Ask, who is asking the question? Find that, and you will need no answers. Lao Tzu climbed back onto his ox. The guard called out desperately, Master, one last thing. Please leave me with one simple line. Something to remember for the rest of my life. Lao Tzu turned, smiled, and said, the universe was never created. It is happening just like you are happening, just like this moment is happening. Then he pulled the reins, and the ox began to walk. Lao Tzu passed through the final gate, disappeared into the mountains, into the same silence from which everything arises and into which everything returns.